In order to be accomplished in this life, you must evolve. The entire yoga system is structured so as to help us gaze inside of ourselves to understand who we really are. Then our goal is to learn to see the divine in every aspect of this life. We can enjoy the beauty of a flower, but not experience what we could have experienced if we were enjoying the beauty within us. Absolute creativity, science, and spirituality all make up yoga. Today I would like to discuss the following topic. Where should we look for the Creator? Who is the Creator for you? How would you describe Him, if that's even possible? Of course it's not possible. If one could describe the Creator, He wouldn't be the Creator. If you can somehow attribute a characteristic to God, it's not God. In every religion, even in Islam, spiritual texts describe God as the unborn, the uncreated one, and that to explain or somehow convey something about Him is impossible. It wouldn't be true, it would be false. However, we can experience it. In His day, Master Jesus used to say that the kingdom of God is within you. That's why you should look for Him inside of you. The entire yoga system is structured so as to help us gaze inside of ourselves to understand who we really are. Behind this understanding is the sublime concept that you can call God. This is our higher self, the so-called Paramatman. He is the Creator. How you perceive Him, how you interact with Him, and how you approach Him, all is determined by your spiritual practice, by your level of consciousness. But first, you should realize that there is cosmic consciousness, because the Creator has manifested Himself as cosmic consciousness. It's the consciousness of the entire universe. This is Shakti, the Divine Mother. When interacting with this living energy, with this huge life-giving power, the enormous transcendental power, you will start to understand the nature of the Creator, because you will see how the entire universe works. If you do samyama meditation on your body, you learn how the universe works. When you do samyama on the sun, you gain awareness of the cosmic law. You gain understanding of how the solar system or the universe works. Because any object that arises in this space arises from something. And this something, which constitutes the reason for the emergence of this object, can be comprehended through samyama meditation on this object. Every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. That's why when you meditate on who you really are, you comprehend who the Creator is. One cannot understand Him altogether because He is limitless and immense. It is impossible to embrace that which is boundless, as they say. However, you can understand it. When the time is right, you will gain awareness of your unique self, of your Atman, and you'll return to the limitless, to Paramatman, where you will understand what this ocean of bliss is made of, which consists of every drop that you are. But every drop must first become aware of itself. Then it will merge with the limitless while maintaining its awareness. This retention of awareness allows you to understand who He truly is. Here on the physical plane, we can of course make assumptions in an ordinary state of consciousness about the nature of God. Like He is gracious, merciful, maybe formidable, possibly ruthless, and so on and so forth. These are all mind games. In reality, God is love. But how do you experience love? Few people grasp what love is unless they have experienced it. And those who have experienced this emotion are unable to explain it. That's why God is Sat Chit Anandam, the truth. You decide what the truth is for yourself. Chit means being, consciousness. What do being and consciousness mean for you depends on your level of development. Anandam is bliss. It's an emotion you experience at different levels that can be intense or not very intense. It can be an all-encompassing feeling. It all depends on your level of development or your ability to accept this power. Then you'll understand who God is. If we say that everything is God and that this fact should not remain something that is simply stated with words, then our goal is to learn to see the divine in every aspect of this life. Begin, for example, with your own breathing. When observing your breathing, you should be aware that this is the life that originates inside you. Every breath you take sustains your life. But who's behind it? The Creator Himself. Who creates these worlds, beauty? The Creator Himself. So if you try to be like the Creator here on earth, you will become the Creator's creation, and you create. You are creating beauty. The power given to us from on high is given to create for the good. One who uses this power for evil, who uses it as a destructive power, is not the Creator. He is the destroyer. That's why the Creator always brings goodness. One of His names is thus, the Good Lord. You can feel the Creator in your senses, in being able to perceive beyond the usual and hear beyond the conventional sense of sound. You will then hear the sound of nada or Brahman. The voice of the Creator, the voice of Brahman, is the initial sound. In this sound, you will understand what He is. In this vision and in the light, you will understand what He is. This is merely an attempt at a description, but you should look for Him within. If you look for Him without, you won't find Him. It will take you many years to wander around seeking Him, and He will continue to elude you with the only purpose, to make you exhaust yourself in the fruitless attempts to find Him on the outside and go back looking for Him in your inner world. Maya, the illusion, hides Him from you. We can enjoy the beauty of a flower, but not experience what we could have experienced if we were enjoying the beauty within us. All this is very relative. Everyone has asked himself somehow or other who God is, where He is, and how one can speak to Him directly. Is it possible at all to talk directly to God, and what might this look like? Conversation with God happens within you when you are genuinely in tune with Him. This is very important. When you communicate to God, it appears as if your entire existence is being transformed. You have finally found the ideal one to talk to. This is possible in meditation, in an intense prayer state, which is essentially meditation. I told you that prayer is that moment when you speak, but He is silent, and conversations with God are when God talks to you and you talk to Him. To put it another way, you turn to Him and He answers. You feel and experience this state of being. Accordingly, it is a deep prayer, which is almost meditation. Meditation is the moment when God speaks to you while you are silent. It's important to understand that only a sincere, pure, and open heart, purity of good intents and thoughts, and love directed towards the divine will allow you to unlock the doors behind which the Creator is present, allowing you to interact with Him. This is called darshan, being able to see God and communicate with Him. This is possible in deep Kriya meditation, where all of your vision is focused toward the awareness of the divine presence, and all of your bodily experience is tied to His presence, from the tips of your toes to the head. What's important here is that you no longer stay in your body, constrained by your body consciousness. You go beyond these limits. When you immerse into these limitless transcendent states, I call it transcendent Kriya, you can communicate with the Creator. See Him, hear Him, and accept Him. There is no voice as such. Of course, He can say something out loud. There we'll be able to directly perceive Him, to directly perceive what He expects of you and what He is teaching you. It's impossible to describe. It's not a language. There is no tongue, no brain, and no body. It's an entirely different perception. And there's no time there. You know everything, you understand everything, until you realize that He and you are one. But there is still a distance. And you can talk to Him as if He were your best friend. The Creator is your best friend, or a female friend for women, to put it that way. The Creator is the best conversationalist since He has an answer to every question and is able to keep the conversation going at all times, especially when you are going through tough times. However, not everyone wants to know it or remembers it. Not everyone has the desire to learn how to achieve this by working on themselves. But everyone will come to it anyway. We often ask God or the Creator to help us when we feel bad, frustrated, or have difficult times. Are these situations the only way for the Absolute or the Creator to call for our attention?
Майя, которая засасывает людей, она настолько мудра в своих действиях.
Maya that swallows people up is so wise in its actions that all our attachments make us forget our true nature, forget the One who is all in all, forget where we have come from. When we are attached to this, we are completely gone. We no longer exist under the principle, I and my Father are one. Yes, we really disappear. The majority of people don't even want to think about it. Or they just shy away from it until something big happens that makes them move in the opposite direction. Why does it happen? To bring the soul back to the One who is all in all. Because the soul has come from there, from the primary source. But today people are so attached to material things, not everyone, but in general, that unfortunately, God has to create situations that will redesign one's mind. I often say, don't wait for an opportunity. Do spiritual practices and don't wait for the universe to make a sharp turn in your life or to bring you pain so that you come to God through it. Try to employ spiritual practices and ponder about the topic so that you may go for it on your own, rather than waiting for a stroke of bad luck. Then it would be something good. However, the majority of people lead an ordinary life. They have attachments. When, say, somebody dies or something bad happens to others, people tend to say, thank God it was not us. And the mind, the ego, make you think that it will never happen to you. But as we are getting older, we become more fearful because we feel disconnected and remote. We realize that our days are coming to an end and become religious. But already at that moment, people, not everyone though, get or find enough spiritual power to have a good start in their life and compensate for the time lost. Have you watched The Tale of Lost Time? That's about it.
Поэтому приходится, конечно
That's why
же,
Mother Nature, the
матери
universe,
природе,
has to
образно
create
говоря,
situations where we
Вселенной,
have to stop and
создавать
ponder
какие-то
about our
ситуации, при
life.
которых человеку вынужденно приходится остановиться и задуматься. Поэтому нары и
When people go
больничная
to
койка —
prison or
это первый
hospital,
принцип
it's the first way to
остановки
stop them
человека,
from going in a wrong
который идет не
direction
туда,
or going
либо не
nowhere.
идет никуда. Это такой пример грубый. Ну, какое-то
Of
событие,
course, it's an
какая-то
extreme
ситуация.
example, an event, a situation.
Но немало людей, которые
However, there are many
чувствуют зов
people who
души,
choose to follow
и
their
они не
soul's calling
дожидаются
rather than wait for
таких
slings and arrows.
сильных ударов
They
или
try to do their
потрясений,
best
они
in
стараются и
practice.
практикуют. Это зависит от того, насколько
It
человек
depends on the
осознан,
person's level of awareness,
насколько он был
on how
сопряжен
deep
с
their
духовной
spiritual
практикой в прошлой
practice was
жизни.
in their past
И в
life,
этой жизни он
and
продолжает.
they keep this way in this life.
И, кстати, он не боится
By the
ударов
way, they
судьбы,
have no
он
fear
делает
of
это,
the
потому что он
strokes of fate.
хочет избежать
They don't do it in an
потому
attempt
что
to
ему
avoid
интересно
something, but
развитие.
because they are interested in
И такие люди, как
self-development.
правило, легко
As a rule,
проходят.
life is easy for such
Они
people.
скользят. Они как рыбы
They
в
glide
воде,
through life like a
потому
fish
что
in
сам Творец
water,
их оберегает.
because the Creator Himself
Если вы
protects
хотите
them from
быть
danger.
совершенным, а в совершенство входит еще и
You must
отсутствие
develop your
потрясений,
consciousness if you want to be ideal,
либо ударов
which
судьбы,
involves the
либо
absence of shocks,
болезненных
strokes
ситуаций,
of fate,
то
and
тогда
painful
нужно
events.
развивать свое сознание. И даже если вам предстоит пережить что-то,
And even if
то
you have to go through a
состояние
rough time, doing
осознанности,
so in a state of
состояние
awareness and
принятия
acceptance
пережить это
makes it
намного
much
легче. Вы
easier.
понимаете причину этого
You
всего.
understand the reason
И легко
behind it
проходите
and
дальше.
can move on with ease.
А для
But for
эгоиста
an
это очень
egoist,
сложно.
it is very challenging.
Допустим, каждый из нас
Let's say every one of us is very thankful to the Creator, to the Almighty, for everything that happens to them. But how can we really please the Creator? What makes Him happy? Maybe we should do something or move towards Him somehow? Please share your thoughts.
Творец настолько скромен,
You cannot imagine how
насколько
humble
вы
the
себе
Creator
представить не
is.
можете.
This is
Это
otherworldly modesty.
изовселенская скромность. И поэтому он служит,
That's why He
постоянно
serves while continually enjoying
уже
Himself
наслаждаясь
in His manifested
самим собой
world.
в проявленном своем мире. Он потому и создал этот мир, чтобы
This is why He created this world, to share His love. But it is your conscious good deeds, your principles, that are aimed at creation that please Him. And what pleases Him most is when you talk to Him. Just talk to Him as a close friend. You start as the Son of God, and then you become His friend. At the beginning, you perceive our Heavenly Father as a formidable power and bow down before Him. This is right. You are afraid of Him and love Him at the same time. You feel more fear than love. This is the main principle because the religious fear was imposed on us, and people still experience it. But when you feel the absolute love, this fear will disappear, and you will remain true friends. That's why the goal of a person who seeks companionship with God is that they should make friends with God. Then you will always feel complete delight, security, and all other benefits that come with it, until you merge with this highest. Therefore, I think that what pleases Him is your constant appeal to Him, even for small things. It is safe to say that at all times, He expects us to turn to Him. We talk with Him. He already knows what we need, but wants to talk.
Today, there exist many scientific fields of research, like physics, chemistry, biology, and many others.
Самые-самые разные направления. Мало кто задумывался, существует ли какой-то
Is there a scientific approach to studying the God's law, the law that governs the universe?
Как к этому подойти?
How can we explore it?
All branches of science that study certain phenomena are in their essence the study of the Creator to this or that extent. They just don't say they study Him. For example, nuclear physics studies energy, the Creator's energy. Why people study it and how they use this energy is a different story. That's another issue. In everything you do, you study a manifestation of the Creator. Hence, you study the Creator Himself. He has manifested Himself in the phenomenon you study. When something happens to you, for example, to your physical body, you investigate the phenomena linked to these changes in the human body. And this is also the study of the Creator. Any activity related to your spiritual experience is a study. So all the science that is out there today is a hint that you are studying a phenomenon. But there are basic sciences that are not underpinned by spirituality. Then you are not studying the Creator, but a phenomenon of the universe, spiritless. And this creates certain problems in the life of society. For example, people use nuclear power for the evil. I don't even mean that it can be used against the humanity. I mean that it is still in use. It poisons our planet because it is used in the wrong way. Yes, it helps us in certain ways. However, there are alternative methods, alternative power sources. Using nuclear power was not really necessary, but this is what we chose for some reason. If science is not connected to spirituality, it becomes evil. With its original idea, science was given to people to ascend, to rise above it, pairing with spirituality. But when science cuts off spirituality and leaves just law, excluding it all, it turns into evil in the long run. It's bad. That's why for me, yoga in its essence is first of all the path to God. Yoga has its own spiritual principles. Let's call it a religion. Yoga is made up of religion and spirituality, as well as science and creativity. Absolute creativity, science, and spirituality all make up yoga. This is how I see it.
How is the science of Kriya connected with the study of the Creator, with the study of human nature, the capabilities and aptitudes that we have, and the purpose of our earthly life? The science of Kriya is capable of shortening evolution over 1,000,000 years to a few years of intensive practice. Your evolution is dependent on your development, which includes the development of intelligence, the development of very high qualities, and the development of psychic energy. So by practicing Kriya, you evolve, you activate neurons, and you cause your brain to evolve. The evolution of the brain is related to the evolution of the whole universe. You exist within your universe. Your universe exists within the entire universe. You resonate. The science of Kriya Yoga has the power of making your intellect, your brain, understand the laws of the universe. By understanding the laws of the universe, you will begin to understand how everything works, which means you can bring those laws into your life. So Kriya Yoga as a science can help you express yourself in a cosmic way. This is how it functions. You often use such terms as higher self, the Creator, Absolute. Do they express the same or different notions? No, I say it on purpose for people of different faiths to understand that we are talking about exactly the same thing. God can be termed whatever you want, whatever is most familiar to you. You can call Him God, you can call Him the Great Magnet,
You can call him the higher or the universal mind. You can call him Rama. You can call him Krishna. You can call him just Baba. It will all be one creator. He is the one. You can call him simply Father and Mother in one. Like Om, for example. What is Om? That is a mantra. Om is the world sound, yes? Pranava. Omkar. But Om is Father and Mother. This is why I use different names for it. The higher self, the absolute self, Paramatman, are the words that are used to name the presence of the One.
Мы часто слышим разные истории о том, что кто-то
We often hear different stories about people seeing angels in their dreams or hearing a voice. Some people say it was not only in a dream. How can we understand that the Creator Himself and not someone else has come to us? How can we master the ability not to mistake God for other beings? Imagine that you don't know the difference between these beings. Imagine that you know nothing about spirituality, but the Creator comes to you. Just know that when the Creator comes to you, there is no longer a shadow of doubt left in you. All that remains is a profound experience, direct awareness, and the universal comprehension that God is now in front of you. When I saw Satya Sai Baba for the first time in my inner view, I had no doubt that the one standing in front of me was the Creator. However, after becoming self-aware, it was sort of an interesting game. I suddenly realized that the Creator cannot be manifested in a form. At that time, and it happened many years ago, I had an understanding that the Creator cannot come in a form. The Creator is a limitless, omnipresent being that cannot be shaped into a form. That's how it is. At that time, I didn't know that He could create a form of Himself and express Himself through this form. But my body temple was vibrating so as to make me understand that the Creator Himself was standing in front of me, and I saw Satya Sai Baba. My lips, without my knowledge or intention or understanding, whispered the word God. And I was the one who observed it. As soon as I felt the smallest doubt later, after I had realized that it was God, my mind immediately switched on. Such was the reaction of my body. I want to say that there are different situations. You should know that in the inner view, when you sleep, you can find yourself in the spiritual world and see a being of a very high level, or the Creator Himself in a certain form, standing in front of you. And you will have no doubt it's Him. Because when He comes, when He appears, He brings along His energy and His information. When someone has comforted you, what do you feel? For example, you have doubts. When someone with authority approaches you and speaks to you, you feel better. Or a saint that you know comes and speaks to you, you feel better. What is happening at this moment? What happened to your doubts? It's not just that you are persuaded. You have been given energy. This is the element of the spirit of the Comforter. But when the Creator Himself appears, His spiritual or holy power naturally solves all issues immediately. That's why you have no doubts at this moment. Sometime later, when you wake up, maybe, your mind will begin to convince you that you most probably hallucinated. But you will recall what you were feeling at that time, in the here and now. When you see some image or phenomenon in your dream, and while sleeping you already start to doubt, you have this opportunity when the chance of it being true is 50-50. And it's not something remote and vague, but a particular image or phenomenon that you are witnessing, but you have doubts or lack of understanding about it. It means something is wrong. You should check because it's not always the case. When the Creator comes, when your mind is clear and you are highly aware, you also feel the energy of love and absolute peace.
Если бы у нас прямо сейчас была возможность или появилась возможность
If we had an opportunity to meet the Creator right now, or the Creator manifested Himself, what should we ask Him for or about? What can you advise?
задавать или что вы можете посоветовать? Это, конечно, так.
First of all, why if? Right now, everyone has the opportunity to speak with the Creator, but not everyone has a desire to do it. Because the affections we have in this world lead us astray. When you try to focus, your mind begins to broadcast alternative programs. Let us imagine you want to enter a state of peace and quiet, but your mind tells you, remember when you were walking down that street, for example, or you met someone and said something to him, and you think it's very important. The ordinary mind works this way. There could be millions of examples, but we have only one important task, entering a state of peace and quiet. This is what we should do in this life. The Creator Himself is behind this peace and quiet, and through the Creator, with the Creator, and in the name of the Creator, you can achieve whatever you want in this life. So yes, there is a need, and there is an opportunity for everyone. What you can ask depends on how close you are to Him. If you are far from God, you will feel like asking Him a self-centered question, because at this moment you are still on the mental plane. Let's imagine that you have established a connection with God. Even if you are not on the mental plane, He lets you ask Him a question. It depends on your needs. I think that when you start to meditate and find yourself very close to the Creator, you will have no questions. Everything will be clear to you in this state because the Holy Spirit is the absolute self-sufficient energy. In this state you understand, you become aware of everything absolutely, but you have no questions, never mind answers. Everything is absolutely clear there, everything is present here and now, and that's why we cannot consider this matter this way. Here, when we are remote from Him, we could think of the questions to ask Him. But okay, let's imagine that we have such an opportunity. I can advise you to ask God when in prayer and meditation for peace of mind. People tend to ask for liberation, not knowing what it is. They have certain concepts about what they ask for. I have a friend who traveled to India with me many years ago. He was initiated to Kriya Yoga. He asked for liberation, but almost died. And when he realized what he had asked for, he backed away. When I asked him about what he was asking the Creator for, he was already in a wheelchair and could hardly move. He was dying. And he said, I asked God for liberation, but I am getting worse and worse. For him, the concept of liberation was related to superpowers. He wished to be very cool, to have all the superpowers and help people. He was a very good man, but he didn't understand what he was asking for. He was thinking about one thing while working on something entirely different. And the universe was fulfilling his order, his request. Then, when I explained to him that this was a wrong decision, he backtracked. We held pujas, performed certain rituals, practiced, prayed, asked for this law not to work this way. I therefore recommend not to ask for liberation, but to do whatever is necessary to achieve that liberation, to create conditions for the acceptance of that liberation. In order to be accomplished in this life, you must evolve. A person who wants to seem cool goes to the gym to bulk up. They are cool from the physical perspective. Igor Krutoy, for example, writes beautiful music. He is also cool in his own way.
Огромное количество людей становится
A huge
крутыми,
number of people become cool in one way or another.
но та
But the
крутость, о
coolness
которой
that
мы
we are
говорим,
talking about is the state of cosmic consciousness.
состояние космического сознания. И, естественно,
Of
для
course,
этого
it requires
требуется
much effort.
просите покоя ума.
Ask for the peace of mind. Ask for peace not only for yourself,
Не только для
but for the
себя,
entire
но и для
world.
всего мира. И просите
Ask for happiness for all living beings in this world, for all other worlds.
были счастливы.
Everything else will come from the Creator without you asking for it.
Если каждый будет это делать, то мир изменится.
The world will change very quickly if everyone does this.
О тех людях,
We are
которые
talking
не
about people who
находятся
do
в
not
практике
practice
крии в
Kriya,
целом.
about the general
Если человек
public.
практикует крия-йогу,
But if people practice Kriya Yoga, if they are on their path to self-realization and keep company with those who have attained self-realization or strive for it,
то он знает, чем заниматься.
they know what to do and what to ask for.
Спасибо.
Thank you very much, Master. Sairam.